Hey, hi everyone. Good morning. Am I audible? Please confirm.
Hey, hi. Good morning.
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's wait for 5 minutes. Hello, everyone. Welcome to KSR Data Vision. Hi, Divakar. Hi, Harika. Hi, Karthi. Hi, Madhu. Good morning. Hi, Mudeshwaran. Good morning.
Good morning, Santosh.
Good morning.
Morning, Santosh.
Hey,
Morning,
hi,
Santosh.
Santosh.
Good morning. Shiva. Good morning. Sarika. Good morning. Sanjay.
Good morning,
Thanks for
Santosh.
joining. Good morning.
Morning.
Santosh.
Please give your names. I can see a lot of HP, AA, laptop, mobile. So please give your names. Hi, Madhu. Meghana. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Santosh.
Good morning, Saraswati. Good morning.
Good.
So let's wait for a couple of minutes. I understand that it's Saturday weekend and you guys would have woke up late, but just wait for 2 more minutes. Chandu, good morning. Hare Krishna, good morning. Krishna Chaitanya, good morning.
Morning.
Naveen, good morning.
Good morning, Santosh.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Pawan, good morning. Hi, Hanu, good morning. Please give your names.
Good morning, Santosh.
Good morning.
Good morning, Santosh.
Good morning. Hi, Anshul. Akil, good morning.
Good morning, Santosh.
Good morning. Okay. So, again, welcome to KSR. We are just going to take out your 1 hour of your time on this weekend, and this will definitely be worth of your entire career in IT which you're going to spend, right? So whatever the technical skills you learn, you could be a data engineer, data scientist, data analyst, Java developer, UI developer, whatever maybe you are. If you want to communicate to your clients, you cannot just take out your number and WhatsApp him, right? So there is a professional way of doing that, and that is email. So email is one of the very crucial in terms of IT. You need to know how to send an email to client, right? So one of the bad experience which I can say in our KSR is no one has ever come back to us saying that no, is not able to work technically, but a lot of people were struggling to write emails to the clients, right? So even in this AI era, people are struggling, right? You just go and write something in chat GPT, you will get it, but still we are struggling, right? And your communication could be rude because it's something which you're doing it in online, it's not an emotion. If it's a person who's face to face, you can just put a smile and you can just say, yeah, this is what it is. But on email, you cannot show your emotions, right? You cannot be rude, so your messages, emails has to be very polite, correct? So that is the reason we have organized this session, right? Technically, however strong you are, if you are not able to communicate, and of course I can clearly say this, it's a crime in IT if you don't send proper emails, right? And you guys are also sending us email for extension of course, for system locking, maybe the account locking, and the way you're sending, we are very disappointed the way you're sending, right? So this cannot happen. You need to have some sort of professionalism when you're sending an email, right? And most of you guys are here in 20s, and we have a person with us, Manigandan, who has spent 20 years in IT, right? Your age is almost equal to his experience in IT. So we are very thankful for him to take this session, and let's enjoy the session. You can ask or whatever questions you have in the chat, but ask towards the later part, but let him continue with what he is having for us, right? So very grateful to be part of this session. Manikantan, thank you so much for joining this, and it's all yours.
Thank you, Santosh, and thank you all the lovely participants who have made your time, and I appreciate your time. And I promise you that when you go back after this 1 hour, you would have learned something new, and maybe it is not new that you would be knowing it already, and you would have been revisiting it. You would know how to do it better. So that's the agenda. That's the entire intent of this training. And with one disclaimer. Um, what I'm trying to take you through or walk you through today are the best set of rules or the guidances that you can follow to make your communication better. Because you know, right, we humans are very much a social being, right? Communication is a very key uh, ability that we believe that only we as a human have, right? So let's make this 1 hour session more interactive. I heard Santosh saying that you can park your questions for the Q&A sessions at the end of the session. I don't mind doing that as well, but in case you feel there's something that you would like to raise when I walk you through the slides, please do stop me. Okay. With that, let me just briefly give an intro of myself. As Santosh said, I have a 20 years of experience into IT. Yes, that's true. I've been into this industry for quite some time. I'm a bit old man. Basically, I'm from Kerala, but then I reside in Tamil Nadu. So I've seen, I've been with a couple of MNCs, or rather, I've not worked for many companies. I've stayed with HP for quite some time. And that's all about me, and that's not about me here today. So, right. With all that said, let's move on. Before I move, I mean, even this is the agenda. So I'll try to walk you through the how do you structure your emails, what are the parts of your emails, how better you can present yourself, what are the do's and don'ts, and what are the quick checklists that you can do. Is there anything else, guys? I mean, you think I should cover? If yes, you can let me know before I go ahead and start the presentation. Because I don't want this to be a monologue. I don't want I mean to spend this 1 hour where I talk something here, leave everything what I know. That's not how it is, right? So just do let me know, and if you don't have it handy right now, preserve it, share me, let me ask me questions. I don't tell you that I may know everything that you ask me, but then I promise I will find a way to answer your questions. Maybe I can shoot an email, I can send it across to Santosh, Santosh can distribute to it. So, right, as I said, don't please make this as a monologue stuff. I would love to have interactive sessions. I would like to take this as a learning opportunity as well. I would love to learn more from you people as well. And with that note, let's quickly move on. Please let me know if you could see my screen and it's visible for you. Is that visible? Can you see my screen?
All good.
Yes. Yes, Manikanta.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. As we said, this session is more about what are the email etiquettes that you should follow, and I hope you know what an etiquette is, right? So it's a best practice or a professional way or a good behavior, right?
So sorry to interrupt you. Just a small question.
Yeah.
That do we will this recording will be provided to us, or we have to write and make notes?
It will be provided. It will be provided. You need not worry. You can just listen.
Okay.
Every details of the session will be provided, and it is also live streaming. You'll be able to find that in our YouTube channel as well.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Santosh. So we are just trying to understand how better we can do this, because there are various ways. As I said, you this is not a rule. This is a guidelines. This is something which is coming out of the experiences that I have gone through, that my colleagues have gone through, and as Santosh rightly pointed out, when we started way back, we did not have all these kind of helping hands. But now we would want our younger generations to get exposed to these kind of knowledges. We don't want you to make mistakes on these kind of common things. We want you to explore more, grow more, and that way we grow as a society, right? So that's one of the other agenda which we have. So I mean, I hope you all understand what an email is, right? And I don't need not really take you back and say electronic email and blah blah blah, right? So you're, I mean, given I presume, I mean, that's my assumption here, that you all know what an email is, and there are various platforms that you can do this. You have Google Gmails, you have Outlooks, you have I mean many other things, right? So Redmi, and there are many other things that where you can write an email. So what is this email? I mean, what are we trying to replace with this email? Nothing but our letters, right? And what is these letters? What is this email? You are trying to do a communication. So communication, as I said in the beginning, is very key for a human being. Whether it is in IT industry, whether it is in classroom, whether it is in your home, whether it is your professional or your personal, communication is very key. And I would like to begin this with a quote. It's the responsibility of a communicator to ensure that he is able to communicate what he wants to communicate, and it has reached in the same format to his intended audience, right? So if you take this session, it's my responsibility. I assure you, I would try my best to make you understand what I want to convey. So, and always when you communicate, there are a few things that you should keep in mind. You should know about your audience. You should communicate in such a way that your audience can grasp what you're trying to say, right? I cannot go and teach a 10th standard student an engineering mathematics. I cannot go and teach a 10th standard student a digital processing signal systems, right? So I should know what my audience can take up. And I always a communication. It's not just this year. In always a communication, there's always a question, right? There's a big question. Now you are here for 1 hour. Why are you here? You want to learn something. So unless I invoke that learning stuff in this entire session, you guys are not going to benefit. So what I'm trying to say is, I should always gauge what is there in for my recipients, and when I don't do this, I fail in my communication. Okay. So this is what I said. There are various email providers, and these are few email providers that we can search for. And of course, Zoga's eating the markets and headlines recently, if you would have been watching it for various reasons. Okay, so now, as I said, why am I writing this email? Who needs to read it? All are these things that I should really think through before I start writing it, right? Because let me tell you, why should I do this? Have you ever thought of why we pay so much of attention to it? Two things, primarily two things. One is we think much faster than we can write it down. When it comes to a written communication, it slowly, gradually comes down because see, verbal communication is very faster. You think, you speak as and when you think, right? But when you try to jot it down, when you try to put this into papers or put this into somewhere, it becomes very difficult. There is a conversion rate. You cannot replicate what you think as and when you think, right? So there is a slowdown. There is a process which slows down it, right? And second thing is, you may not be really writing down whatever you're thinking. Say maybe I just want to say I need something to drink. This is what I want to say, but I may write something different, right? So there are possibilities that you may not replicate what you're thinking. Or what I'm saying is, you cannot go with the fast that you think. You cannot write it down. That's a primary reason. And secondary reason is even more important. See, what I speak is listened when I speak and it's gone. But when I write it on a paper, send it across, it becomes a record, right? It is a record. So you should be very careful. It's a written statement. You're giving a written statement, and people can come back and they can screw you back on that. So you are more accountable. So for two reasons, a written communication has to be taught many a times rather than a verbal communication. Does that make sense, gentlemen?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, Manigan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's really get into the core of it, right? So this is how it is, right? When you start designing your house, how do you think? You will have to know about the plan. You will have to know what kind of rooms you want, a hall or a kitchen or a bedroom or a living room or a study room. So it's a similarly, if you decode an email, what are the things that it should have, right? So I've tried to capture a few things here which are very important. Of course, your recipient is also important. We will come to that. To whom you send this, and what are the options or what are the possibilities that are available. But these are the key things. So subject line, you would have all heard about the subject lines. This is a very, very key thing. So this sets the context for the reader, because a survey says that a person who works uh, in this kind of environment, IT, or now given for that fact, any environment where he works is expected to read somewhere around 100 to 120 emails per day. Do you really think through it? So 120 emails if a person has to read, do you think he can read each and every email to the detail that it is being sent? No. So how do I catch his attention? How do I grab this gentleman's attention? How do I grab my recipient's attention? That the first option that I have is my subject line. So it should be very concise, it should be very precise, but it should be about what this email is all about, right? Like your trailer, like your poster. You have a film which has been shoot for 2.5 hours, but then your 10-20 minutes of your trailer will have to say what the content is, right? So that is how you could correlate the subject line, and that shows how important it is, right? Because if your subject line is not very keen, if your subject line is very vague, and if your subject line does not kindle my interest on your subject or your email, I'm going to skip this for sure. So you'll have to make it very short. When I say it is to be very short, it doesn't mean it should not carry the content. It should carry the content, and it should be very precise. And it shouldn't be that your subject line is something and your body talks about a different thing, right? So that is why subject line becomes more important here. The next one is the salutation. So how do you address your recipients? It's very important, right? Because I don't believe no one in this world would love to be addressed in a different way. When I been named Manigandan, I would love to be called as Manigandan, right? By a by a person who I'm not very sure. But when I have my friends, they call me Money, they call me with my nicknames. But when someone stranger or when I'm in an official forum, I would love my people to call me in the full name, unless otherwise I give them the privilege to call me on my shortened name. And I would also love the way I would be addressed, right? You cannot call me Dom Carry, right? That doesn't work because the name is my identity, right? Have you anyone faced this agony, or have you anyone faced through this situation where you've been every time called in a different way? You it feels very bad, right? When someone calls you, say your name is something nice, your parents have kept it, you have been used to it, and if someone here calls you in a different way, right? Say for example, is it yes, please. Was someone trying to say something? Okay. So what I'm trying to say you is the name is your identity, and the way you address that shows you, I mean, how polite and how organized you are. So try to be very cautious here. I mean, of course, we know we are into this global world. It's not that you're going to address only people in India, and even in India, right? The naming structures varies, right? The way the people name yourself in North India is different, and South India is different. So there's a lot of issues here. So be very mindful. How do you do it? If you ask me, a tip for doing it is if you are responding to a person, just always ensure what is there in his signature and his previous emails. How does he address it? Does he address it in his full name? And has he given how he should be addressed? There are people who put their signature with his pronouns. They say it is he or she because see. Some names for me may not tell me I mean, which gender they are. So it's very difficult for me to address it as Mr. or Mrs. or Miss, right? So it's always nice to have your pronouns in your signature. But in case if you don't know it, always the thumb rule is use their full first name, unless and otherwise you're very close to them, right? And how do you address it? Is it hi? Is it hello? Is it dear? The professional way of doing it is hello. Okay, hi. I mean, we would have, but the other, it is the other way around. You would have seen all of your emails saying that hi, so and so, hi Sampath, hi Santosh, or hi Money. But the professional way of doing it is hello, of course, and the very formal way of doing it is dear. But there's some you'll have to be very cautious when you use this word dear. Okay, it doesn't suit everywhere because of these linguistic and cultural differences we have, and particularly when you try to address a female person, and it's the other way around, on a female sending an email to an male recipient, the dear may not sound better, right? I mean, I'm not saying that's incorrect, inappropriate. I would still try to remind you this is not a rule, this is a general best practice. So, dear is very formal. You can address when you are sending it to your senior managers, your CTOs, your CEOs. I mean, you're supposed to do it dear, irrespective of it is a opposite gender whom you're sending to. But there may be few scenarios where the recipient is not very comfortable with that. So please don't do it. You can say hello and the name. So that's where the salutation becomes very important. It may sound, I put some time more here, but then be very cautious because I don't want to be called damn Dickari. I want to be called as Money, and I love people calling me by my name. And I hope that's the case with you as well, right? So now let's get into the content. So far we were trying to talk about the subject, the salutation. Now is what the real uh, core of the structure is, right? The body of the content. So uh, I've seen people sending emails, pages and pages. Believe me, you're not going to be read. And if you'd have gone through this, there are different ways of reading. You read it, you skim through it. So if your mails are more than, let me tell you, more than 4 5 lines, I can assure you your emails will not be read, it will be just skimmed. So always ensure your body talks about what is the issue that you're going to talk and what are you expecting from your recipient. It should have these two things. It should talk about, see, because why do you communicate? You communicate because you have something that needs to be said, that needs to be delivered to the recipient. It can be an issue that you are going through. It can be a good news that you want to say. It can be a scenario, or it can be a function that you want to explain. So that should be said first, and then you should say what is there for them in that. Say, I'm sending out an invite saying them to join for a training. So assume if I say, the body says there's an email etiquette training which will happen on 8th of November at 10 o'clock, and then I say close it with thanks and regards, Manigandan. What does it mean for you? It doesn't mean anything, right? It just says that there is a training happening. But what should have I followed it up? I should have said, you people are supposed to attend this training, and I should have been able to explain you what would have been the benefits of it. Only then it makes more sense, right? So what I'm trying to say is, the body of your email should always first address what the concerns are, or what the issue is, or what are you trying to say. That should be the first one. And the second one should obviously say what is in that for the recipient. What does that recipient is supposed to do with? For let's take another example. Okay, assume you're asked to join a session, or you have a class scheduled for maybe your Python class is running on, and it's scheduled and it's on Friday, and for some technical glitches this session is not going to happen. So now this communication, if I send you an email saying that the Friday session is cancelled, it doesn't mean, I mean, it seems to be very rude, right? I mean, it's, of course, you have scheduled it, you have planned your timings, and you know that there is a session, and now all of a sudden you receive on Thursday, there is an email which says your session on Friday is cancelled, right? You can do this, but then is this the right way of doing it? No. So what should it follow? It should say the session has been cancelled on so and so issues. It may not go into the very detailed of it. It can just give you a one liner, the reason. Maybe the say it need not be a network glitch. It may be the trainer is not. We are all humans, right? We plan something. Maybe there are it may not really go as well we have planned. So they can even say the trainer will not be able to take it on that particular day. And third point is, they should say when this class will be replaced as well, right? So only then this communication becomes. So just by saying your class is cancelled, all that you know is the class is cancelled. But what are you supposed to do? You don't know why this is cancelled. You don't know whether this class will be rescheduled. Does it make sense, gentlemen? I hope you guys are still with me, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So the body we talked about, it should tell you what the what are your messages first, and then what is the what is that there for the recipient and not inside that, and you can also probably close it, okay, with a thanks note. It may not be necessary at every occasion. Maybe the second example where you can always close it with thanks for your understanding or something like that, right? So it makes your reader, your recipient more happy. So there's no harm in thanking people, right? And so you can close it with a thanks note, or if you want to remind them something, say there is an action. So you are asking them to, say for example, you have been asked to share your marks, and you they can always close it with saying, please confirm that you have shared your marks with someone. So if you have some actions, you can also put that as your closing comments, right? So that's all about the body. And if you have any questions, you can. But then if not, we'll just move on to the other ones. The closing line is always, I mean, as I said, the best regards, the thanks is a very common one. And then we have seen many people say thanks in advance and all. So that is something which is fine. Thanks in advance is fine. I'm not saying we shouldn't use it, but then that is not always advisable, because you are pushing the people to do it, right? So you cannot be a bossy in that way. You want someone to do something and you're thanking him in advance. It means that you don't give him an option to decide whether he can or he can't, right? So be very mindful when you use those kind of things. And let me tell you, the entire purpose of this is not to show how much you are confident on a language. This entire purpose of this communication is to let your message reach your recipient, right? So either it is in English, either it is in any other language, this is not the place to show your proficiency in your language. This is a place where you'll have to be very concise. We'll have to make it as simple as it is so that the recipient can read it, understand it, right? Because you'll have to understand the language is just a barrier, right? It just carries your thought process to your recipient, right? When I say the word mother, what does it mean to you? The word as such, the language as such will travel till your ear, but then you translate it, you reciprocate it. Mother is a feeling, right? Whenever you hear the word mother, it's a feeling. It can be mom for an English person, it can be amma for a South Indian, it can be ma for a North Indian. It's a feel, right? So if you start concentrating on the language, the word mother, you should not lose your content. That's what I'm saying. Just because you start concentrating more on your languages, you want to make it more fancy, you want to make it you want to you look through your dictionary, put very difficult words as phrases and jargons and all these things and make it very complex. That's not the idea of writing an email. Okay. And the last one, signature. Obviously, see, when you send, we as a human, I believe every act that you do, you should own it up, right? So it's very similar. When you don't sign it below, you don't own it up. So even though it is coming from your, you may argue or you may say that it's coming from my email ID, so you should know it has been sent by me. No, I know that it has been sent by you, but then you should close it with your signature. And why should I close it? It's not just that I'm sending it from your email. It's coming from my email ID, money content, so you know it has come from me. But now assume this way: I want to call you back, or I want to talk to you. I don't know who you are really. So how do I understand? So my signature should give all these places. My signature should say my name. It should say my designation, and this is completely for a professional environment. I'm not talking about the personal emails that you send here. Your signature on a professional environment should say your name, your designation, your company, and of course your phone numbers and your emails, email ID, and even people add your LinkedIn profile. And I've seen people even put their company captions. It's a kind of a branding as well, right? And you may wonder why all these things are done. Just see they are ensuring every time that you're branding your company. See, assume you are a representative of a company and you're representing your sales force or sales department of your company, and you're sending your proposal, and you have your name, your designation, your phone number, your email ID, and of course something good about your company homepage there. That's brand. You're selling your brand there. Knowingly, unknowingly, you're sending in your brand. The recipient sees that, right? He sees, okay, oh, this is his company. Okay, you have your company's homepage. He goes to your URL. He looks into your company. So you understand, right? I mean, even though it may not be very relevant everywhere, but then when you send it, when you represent your company, when you're sending few things, when you're discussing with your vendors, just the signature becomes your brand of your company as well. Okay, that being said, gentlemen, any questions on so far what we discussed? Or any suggestions, or do you think that I've missed something that you were expecting out of this session on this slide?
Um, so I just have a question.
Please.
Uh, so whenever I see, I have this difficulty earlier as well.
Mhm.
So I just want to make sure how I set the tone just by the subject headline, because there are multiple times when the mail could be in a, the body could be disappointing, or it could be very positive, or very mellow. So I just want to know how can I basically, what should be the subject line which notates the emotion of the body.
Okay. Uh, the first answer is every time you may not be able to set a tone on the subject line, but I do understand there are scenarios where you will have to set a tone. So, for example, there's some urgent, suppose there's some kind of an urgent approval that you need from your CTO or from your CIO. So you can obviously use the word urgent, okay, then put your subject line. And the other way is, say I have sent you something, I want to remind you of it, and I've given you a timeline. I want you to follow up, and you're not coming back to me. So I can obviously put the subject line, and I can say hyphen, it's a reminder one, right? So in this way, it catches me, right? It tells me, okay, I have something left which I'm not. So the urgent, and there are other ways as well. You can flag your emails, you can mark it as highly important and all. But if you have to try to do this on the subject line, the few scenarios that I could think of is, as I said, you can mark it, put urgent, and then put your subject line so that your recipient know that it is very urgent and it has to be given the enough priority. And you can also say it is a reminder. And there are people who believe writing everything in caps and sending it. So that is not a right way, at least to me, because we are all humans, right? I mean, there we can forget things. We can. So when you write everything in caps and put it, it is a rude. It is a rude way of putting it. So I don't suggest that. But to answer your question, as I said, you cannot set all your tone in the subject, but you can obviously use these kind of tags, urgent or reminders, right, or follow-ups, something like that. So that will help them to know that this is important, and they can increase their priority and they can read through your email. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so let's keep moving. Okay, so now let's quickly get into the recipient columns, right? So you would have seen, and of course you would have seen. I don't know whether you have seen this from as well.
Hi,
Uh,
Manikandan. Uh,
yeah.
myself, Hari Krishna. I have
Yeah.
a question. Before that, can I ask? Or,
Yes. Yes. Why not? Why not?
yeah. So usually, I have got a feedback from, feedback in the sense, like I got a feedback like from my manager was stating that you should not use you much in the mail conversations.
Yeah. That's. We
I
will
would
deal
like to
through it.
know
Yeah. Yeah.
why.
We will deal through it, right? When you write an email, always try to emphasize your sentences are more passive. It's towards the subject, because see, it's a very common nature of a human being. When I keep boasting myself and I talk, when I pinpoint you, right, even though you are right, you may be right, always putting you says, it points fingers towards me, right? So what happens is, on a long run, I try to forget the content there. I take it very personally. I mean, this guy, why is he pointing me always, right? So that's all because of our attitude or our behavior. This is very quite common. It's not that you do, I do, everyone do it, right? I mean, it's just the threshold, right? Maybe for you, you get annoyed only after 10 emails, but for someone, they may even get annoyed for the first email where he is being pinpointed very often. So avoid pinpointing people, right? As I said, you always try to describe the situation, always try to say what is there in for them and what is expected from them to do. So this way, you will really cut short the use, the names that you have to. I've seen many emails where people write and say for example, there are 10 people in the 10 students in the class, and nine of them or eight of them have responded back with their homeworks or whatever it is, and I very personally call out these two people and say you are it to submit, right? Is the teacher doing a wrong thing? No, he's not. But when the what you sit in the chair of the other person, the other two, right? So they feel offended because in the group of 10 people now you're calling out their name, right? That's the same thing which is happening when you use the use very commonly. So avoid that. I mean, try to say, yeah, that this teacher could have said, I know that eight people have submitted and there are two more people to submit. I would appreciate the two people to submit at the earliest, right? This also conveys the message, correct, without
Yes,
pointing them.
yes,
I hope that answers your question, right?
yes. Thank you, Monica.
Okay, so let's quickly jump into the ways that you address it, and this is very important as well, right? So, on a long run, as I said, I mean, addressing all 120 emails or addressing all these emails on other two priorities. It's not just, I mean, I'm sit and read. I'm not my 8 hours or 9 hours of work is not that I'm just going to sit and read all my emails, right? I have a couple of other things to do as well. So, how do you catch your attention? That's very important here. So this from field is something which you may not have commonly used because where is this from field becoming very important is if I'm a person who am a group of different mailboxes. What I mean by mailboxes are I can create mailbox. I will have a mailbox of my own, okay, with my personal name, and there can be a mailboxes where I'm part of it as a team. Normally we send out these communications as a team communication, right, which is very generic. So those areas, right, I don't want to send it from my personal email ID when I am trying to talk about on behalf of a team, right? Say, for example, I'm an HR representative, right? My name is Manigandan Raghavan, and I'm now rolling out an HR process. I don't want to shoot out an email from my personal email ID. Rather, I will try to do it from the HR email box, right? So that is where you select this. That is why you have this from here. So if you have if you're a member of a multiple email groups, you can use precisely from which email box that you want to send this email for. And that's very I don't say that's of less importance, you should be aware of it, but then that is not something which you will quietly see common. Maybe as you grow in your career you would come to know about it more. But if you look the other three things, that's very important. Two is the real person, is the anchor or is the actor. According to this structure, the person who's in the two is supposed to act on this email. Okay, so what does it mean? I have a two, I have a CC session, I have a BCC session. So now I'm sending an email, right? Let's take a scenario. You are sending an email to your manager asking for an leave. Will you keep your manager, your team, everyone in two? No. You will have to send it only to your manager, right? The two should be your manager. Why this is very important? I cannot leave couple of people responsible for something, right? I want someone to do something. Should be that particular person I'm intending to. So always ensure whether the person should be in two. A person who is in two is supposed to respond, react. And I'm not saying that there will be a scenario, there cannot be a scenario where multiple people are involved to do something. I'm not saying you should always have only one person in the two, but what I'm saying is please be very mindful that you're keeping the right person in two. Okay. And what is this CC about? I mean, I'm sending some communication. For example, let's take the previous example itself. I'm requesting for a leave, and I just wanted to keep my team in CC because they need to know that I'm not available on that particular day. That can be done. So let me do this as the way around. I found one of my colleague doing an exceptional work. I want to congratulate him. So I sent him a I keep my manager in CC. Why do I do it? Because I want my manager to know that this gentleman has done something great and he should be aware of it. So these people who are kept in CC, which is called carbon copy, are the people who are supposed to know this is happening, and they are not the people who are supposed to act on it. So you understood this difference between 2 and CC, right? You want someone to do something and put them in CC, and then you wonder around why this gentleman is not reacting. It's not his fault, gentlemen. It is your fault. Okay? And the most important one, the BCC, the black carbon copy. This is a very effective tool or effective option, and a very ineffective option as well. It is both. It is both. It's like a sword. You can use it for cutting vegetables or cutting something, or you can also kill a person. So see, if you put someone in BCC, his identity is closed. No one in this email trail will know that this email has also gone to this particular gentleman. Okay. So please avoid using BCC unless and otherwise you have a scenario where you want to send it to a group of people or a person whom identity you don't want to get them relieved because you don't want others to disturb it. Let me give you a scenario. You are assume you are a manager of an application which is getting released in next week, and you're supposed to communicate this to your team. Okay. you are putting your timelines and other things. Now you want your boss, you can keep your boss in CC, okay, and you want this information to be known to different set of business groups who will use this application, but you don't want the names or the leads of these business groups to be known to your team, wherein you in future these people can take his email, write something back to him, ask something for clarity and all. You don't want all those zangamas, right? So in this case you can obviously keep these business leaders in BCC, but a good ethic is when you keep someone in his BCC, you will always say before your salutation, on the top of your salutation, you could say that this email is sent to these business leaders, so that the person who reads this email know, okay, even though I don't see these people in the name, I don't see these people in the to or CCC, I mean, sorry, carbon copy, this email has reached them as well. So what I'm saying is use BCC only when you need to send and communication to a group or a person whose identity you feel need not be known to everyone. Okay, and it doesn't stop there. When you do someone, when you put someone in BCC, ensure that your email on the top of your email, below your above your salutation, you write it very clearly that this email is intended to this person as well, and he is marked in BCC. Any questions? Okay.
Yeah.
And let's add few more things to these addressing stuff. So whenever you know that there are various ways you can reply all, forward, right? So I want to be very cautious here. When you do a reply all, which is again something which you should be very cautious, you need not do a
Hi.
reply all always. Yes, is that a question?
Yes, hello.
Yes, please.
I'm audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yes, sometimes people use to highlight something, like to apply red color, like main things, whatever reports we are sending.
Hmm?
So we need to apply colors, or we want to apply only the bold ones, what is necessary in the in the like
Yeah.
body.
Yeah. We will come to that. But since you have asked for it, see, of course, I mean, I understand the entire body you want to highlight something. The best way of doing it is you can either underline it, you can
Yes,
bold it.
sometimes red
Yeah.
color, sometimes different colors we are using to
Avoid
highlight something.
coloring. Avoid coloring.
Okay.
Generally avoid coloring, because see, I mean, it may not go well with the recipients, and it is it should please your eyes, right? When you how does it look when you have an email? You have one line in red, one line in blue, one line in green. How does it look for you? You don't
So
you don't feel
sometimes
you
also
don't
we are
feel reading
using
it, right?
to increase the font size, whatever that is necessary, important
Yeah.
points
Yeah.
in email. So
Yeah.
should
So
we keep that thing in that same font size, and otherwise we can use like to increase the font size. What are the points is important?
yeah, let me tell you. The best way of doing it, you don't differentiate it with the font size and all. You can keep it the same font size. You can highlight it. You can bold that particular stuff which you feel is important, or you can underline that. Or even in the worst case, you can make it as italics. Italics is again a bit difficult because the few fonts, when you do an italic, it need not really represent what you want to convey. So the best way is either you can bold it, you can underline it, or the best way is, see, you can put a note at the bottom of it saying that this is very important, right? So that way also you can say, uh, rather than you color it entirely. I'm not totally saying you shouldn't color it, but what I'm saying you is, it all depends upon the people's. So I've seen many of senior guys who would purposefully ask me to color it. In that case, I can do it because for a coloring is easy to capture. But given a thumb rule, don't go with too much of coloring. Either you bold it, you underline it, or keep that as a separate footnote with a note at the bottom saying that this is what is expected. Okay.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Okay, so let's quickly come jump back. I think we are running short of time, so let's try to do it faster. So this two and CCC and BCC, you should be very cautious when you do a reply to all. What happens is your BCCs are not copied. So you have someone in your first email trial, you put them in BCC, and now you're replying and you're writing reply all and you're writing something. Be mindful that your BCC person will not receive your second email. Okay. And similar way, if you are trying to schedule a meeting from an email, you have an email and you feel that this needs to be discussed and you are scheduling a meeting, always ensure that the person in CC will go as optional. It will not. So if you really want this person in CC to be there in the meeting, you have to put them into the two. So these are two things that you should be very mindful. Otherwise, what will happen? You will be of a notion that this guy will attend my meeting, but then that invite did not ask him to attend. It was optional. He could skip that. And same way, you would have been of a notion that the guys on the BCC would have also got the second email, which is not the case, right? So this is all about your recipients. How do you address your recipients? And this is a quick checklist. After you have done all this salutation, body, your thank note, your signature, and your recipients, still don't hit your fast button. I mean, we have all of us have this tendency, right? I mean, as soon as the mail is written, you send this. No, don't do that. Just check all this is. These are the few checklists, right? The first thing I would suggest is after you write it, please read it once, twice, see whether, because if I have to take you back 20-30 minutes before, I said you right, the way you think is not the way you write. There may be a gap because your thoughts flow very faster, your writing is not that as fast as you are. So always you will have to see whether you have put in what you really want, right? So you will have to check whether you have. There are people who I've seen many times. I've seen many times is happening. They would say, "I've attached you this file as attached. Read the attachment." Then there will be and one more email. Sorry, I forgot to attach the file. So if you have mentioned that there is an attachment, please ensure that you are attaching it, and check for thrice or twice whether you're sending it to the right intended audience and you're using your CZs and BCZs efficiently. And of course, if you have some links, right? So you're sending some proposals or you're sending some files which is in a shared location, ensure that link is working and that link has the necessary access. I would love to say that this particular file is available in this link, and then the gentleman clicks that link and he says that he does not have access. No. So ensure your links are working and the proper access is given to these people. And always, it is a thumb rule which I've learned it from my manager. He says when you write, when your email is running for say 8 to 9 sentences, see how concise you can make it, how shorter you can make it. As I said you in the start, right? Emails on pages and pages are not read. So it's an art. It's an art. It comes as you practice. Maybe you'll have to consciously do this every time when you finish writing your content or your body. You have wrote somewhere around 6 to 7 lines. See if you can do it with 4 to 5 lines without changing the content, without doing a reduction in your message. Okay. So I think these are the basic checklists that you should do. Any questions on any of this, or is it all good? Guys,
It's all good. Yes.
you're still with me, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is something about the times that we spend, because as we all know, we are now in a global world. I may send an email at 8 o'clock my time, or 5 o'clock my time, or 6 o'clock my time, and the recipient may be sleeping at that time, right? How is this harmful? Is it really harmful? I'm sleeping. There's an email. I can come. I can wake up tomorrow morning, and I will attend to it when I'm working. When my working starts. This may be your intention, but this is found offending for few people. They believe, see, you know that I would be sleeping. Why are you sending me emails on those times? This is their preferences. I'm not saying this is something wrong, but this is some people may prefer, and I've seen some people doing it. They put this note at the bottom of this signature which says, I've sent this email. It doesn't mean you'll have to immediately act on it. Please work upon that when you are back at office. So that gives us liberty, right? So it's all the way that you think, that you are. It shows that how much of empathy or sympathy you have for this person who's sitting at the other side of your desk, right? So be mindful. There are options your email provider will have, where you can schedule your delay. You can delay your delivery. You want to write it everything. You want to have this email. You can hit your button, send button, but there is an option where you can schedule it. So this will be sent. It will go from your inbox. It will stay in your outbox, and once you open this again, your email will go at the right time. So you can schedule your emails. That's what we are trying to say. You don't need to intend to send it as and when you are free. And that does not mean that that person is also available for you to respond back. So you can schedule your emails, and this is something which you can do, obviously, because we feel, I mean, we want to be very nice with the recipient of us, right? I think we talked about this, the BCC, and yeah, this is again re-emphasized here. Use BCC for sending information to a large group to protect privacies and avoid replay all chains. These tips will help you to use BCC effectively. So, as I said, BCC, please be mindful. It's a tool. You'll have to handle it very far. I mean, it's an option, very good option, but then don't take it for granted. And this is also something which we talked about, replay all. Every time you need not replay do and replay to all. Very classical examples I can give you. You are having a budget discussion with your finance team and yourself. You're deciding your yearly budget, okay, for your team, and you have come to a conclusion. There are numbers, they say this is what you can do and all these things. Now you want to convey that to your team and say that the budgeting is done, and this would be your approximate appraisals that you guys will earn. Now, see what will happen if you do a reply all without looking at what is the bottom of the trade. All these figures, all these numbers, all these discussions that you had with the finance team will also go to your team, which is irrelevant, which is not needed. So always when you do this reply all, please check very clearly whether the entire content is something which should go to everyone. And similarly, the forward option. See, when I do a reply all my attachment does not work. You will lose your attachments. Say for example, I am sending a training guide today. When Santosh sends this training material to you, the first email he will attach it, and now later on he finds that he has missed it for say a couple of people. I mean, they were somehow missed, and he wants to send this again to them. He cannot just simply reply to all. It will not work because this attachment will go off. He has to forward it, right? He has to forward it and add these new people who have been missed out in the first communication. So this is the difference between forwarding and reply to all. So if you want your attachment to go, you'll have to do it. And why is this? Because reply to all, when you do this reply to all these people have already received this attachment, and there's no point in they receiving this attachment one more time, right? You have to be very mindful when you attach your documents. It shouldn't be such a huge document that you try to attach it, right? Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. Gentlemen, I appreciate if you don't have any questions, if you could go on mute. Thank you. And this talks about the subject line. We discussed it on it. I don't think we have anything more onto it. It's very self-explanatory, right? It should always specify the action that you want. It should summarize the content of your email, and it should be kept as short as it can. Okay. So this is something which we again described, to have the pronouns in your signature. See, your name is very tricky. Christina is the name, Christina or Christina. So with very minimal experiences with the global exposure, it may be very difficult to find whether this is a lady or a gentleman, right? So it's always better you say your pronouns. You can say, treat it as is, him, so that you know how to address these people, right? Okay, this talks about, this is very important. So these are the kind of that we should be very careful. Nowadays, we try to do everything from phone. It's wise. It's nothing wrong in it. But then when you do it from the phone, it's not like that when you type it from your laptop or from your computer. So the typos are very easy to happen. So be very cautious about your typos, and always, as I said, maybe I've not said this. So you will have to always enable your grammar and spell checks. You don't want your content to grow with mistakes or grammatical mistakes, right? So please ensure that you have this. Every email tool has this grammar check and spelling checks and all. So enable it. It will point it out, and it will give you the right spellings, and it will suggest. And the AI world now, right? Santosh said in the beginning, it can entirely rewrite your message for you in a better way. So you can use all these uh, available aids to enhance your communication. So as I said, reread your message loudly. Why? Because your thinking pattern and your writing pattern is different. There's a gap. So you'll have to really read it out once or twice to understand whether you're really sending what you want to send. Okay. And choice of words, as I said, you don't use these jargons, don't use this colloquial phrase. It's raining like a cat and dog. I mean, what is it, raining like a cat and dog? Why should it? I mean, I know, as I said to you, right? I know you're good in your literature. You're good in English. You want to use your phrases. You want to use. You want to show that you're good in your language here. But that's not the intention here. See, assume a person like someone who doesn't really understand this phrase, cat and dog. Why should it read like a cat and dog? He will be wondering, right? He will literally try to translate these words, right? And the jargons, right? The way you don't use this abbreviations a lot. Try to use it, expand it. At least for the first time, use in your body. Maybe the second time you can use your abbreviations, right? So the first time you expand it, and within quotes put your abbreviation, and then you can take your abbreviations later. Okay. Oh, this is all. This is what we discussed again. Always ensure that your entire body is in the passive note. Sorry, it is in an active note and in not a passive way, right? You know what active and passive is, right? I hope you know. Active is all you talk about the subject. Passive is the other way around, right? You talk about the action. So emphasize. I mean, the again. See, let me tell you. This is the rule. No, there may be area where you will have to emphasize actions. There you can be passive, but predominantly 10 out of 8 scenarios always try to be active rather than being passive. And your structures of your paragraphs, and don't use so many colons, semicolons, punctuations to a lot. Make it simple, right? As I said, you make it simple. The content is more important than your language. So the best way to do that is to make it very simple. And this is a classical example. So there's no subject line. Yes, so you could see a lot of they have used the abbreviations, they have used these contractions. I can't, and there are vague things. So how this can be rewritten? I'm not going to read it out for you. I mean, I don't believe that works, because you will have this material, you can read it out for yourself. But this is how it can be made better. That's what they're trying to say. I mean, so as I said, don't use jargons. Use simple languages. Again and again, read it loud once or twice before you send it. So these are the things that you can read, do before checklist like of thing what we already saw. So what it says: read it loud, do a spell check, grammar check, avoid using jargons, be always using active. Let it be in an active tone. And these bullet points are very useful. So you can jot it down as bullets if you have 2 3 things, or you have a couple of things that you want them to do. You can, and also use very short sentences, use proper punctuations, right? So I think this is if you have links and attachment, ensure that the attachments are attached and you are attaching the proper attachments. I've seen those dramas as well. They would have attached a different file, but they would have meant a different file. So that also happens, and links as well, right? It's not that you just ensure that the links are working, ensure that the person who's receiving this has proper access to the links as well. And that's nothing wrong in getting a second opinion as well if you are really unsure. Okay. Okay, these are a few examples, gentlemen, which will help you to set the right tone. Okay, so let's just take one slide and see. Maybe the time may not permit us to do all. I would love to leave it to you to go through it. So what happens here is a request for project update. Dear Shama, I hope this message finds you well. I'm writing to kindly request an update on the status of the Q3 deliverable. Please let me know if there are any blockers or if I can assist in any way. Looking forward to your response. So this is a very professional way. So as I said, you would see that we have the salutation starts with dear, and we know very well Sharma is a man, and that's why it's a Mr. here. Now, when you come to a neutral, I mean, how do you do it with an hello, right? When you do it with a clear and courteous, it's more friendly. You can use hi as well, right? I hope. I mean, I did not really read through these things, but then you can. These are few examples, right, which you can uh, read for yourselves. And there are few phrases that ASAP. Oh, see, when you write, I mean, this ASSP comes in your jargon, so don't use that, right? I think, I believe. What does it tell? It very clearly says that you're not very sure, right? When you are not very sure, you're not supposed to communicate, and that too in a written communication. So be very, very precise. Okay, don't use these kind of words, right? I think, I believe. You should say based on the data, right? That is more because, as I said, if you remember, why this written communication is very difficult, why we find difficulty is one is our thought and our writing does not match in sync. That's one thing. And the second thing, this is a proof. You're writing it down. People can come back to you based on that. So be very, very, very particular. Don't assume things. Okay. And I've also seen people saying that, as discussed earlier, as I told you earlier. So what does it say for a person reading it? See, I've said you already once. You're not listened to it. Now do this, right? It becomes more aggressive, isn't it? So don't open up your body with that. I've seen many people doing that, but don't do that. You can do it with your friends, that's fine. You can do it with your team, that you can do. But then now, uh, if you do that with your manager, with your senior persons, as discussed earlier, what does it mean? Then you are trying to tell them that I've said you earlier, and now I'm reminding it over on a written email as well. A person who takes it normal, it's fine. But then you think a person, see, you have said me once, I know it, I will do it. What will you do with these kind of reactions, right? So, I mean, again, not a rule, but a guideline. Okay, there are a few flags that you could, as I said, you can mark these flags. High importance is where someone asked, how do you set a tone, right? You can mark this I flag, so your email will go as an I flagged one. And this is another one good tool, this follow up. So, see, you are sending an email, you want something back from them on a very specified period. You can always follow it up. You can mark a follow up for yourself, or you can even mark a follow up for the recipients. So this is very important in the day-to-day life, where we miss many deadlines, and we forget to follow it up. You can mark this up so that the tool automatically reminds you that you're supposed to go and follow this up. Okay. And one more thing is setting your out of office. And if you are very sure that you will be not available for a specific period of time, ensure that you are setting your out of office as soon as the recipient will receive this out of office, which says that you are not available, and they will not literally be waiting for your response. And your out of office, don't put it again very vague, right? I'm on leave. I will respond when I come back. No, that is not it. You will have to say you are on leave, and I'll be back on office on so and so date, and I will be able to respond only after that. So don't put it very vague. I'm leave. I'll respond back as and when I come. No, that's not how it is, right? Okay.
Sorry, in case like if the person is sick or any medical leave, so what would be the reply? Like,
Yeah. I understand. Every time when the question comes from, what if I'm not able to put an out of office? Correct. If you're sick and you are not able to
yeah,
set an out of office,
we are not sure, right? When will be written back? Like,
yeah, I understand. Obviously, you can, even if you're sick, I understand you will definitely inform your manager, right? So those scenarios are excused, or if you're the person who's sending an email to you has copied your manager as well, he can respond back saying that the person X is on leave or is sick today. You will respond it back. That way you can handle it, because I'm not that rude here to say even if you're on sick, go and put your out of office. That doesn't work. No, but these things are excuses and exceptions, right? We cannot build rules on exceptions, right? You
Oh,
understand, right?
right.
So it's always nice if you're on sick, if you're not well, just call up, inform your manager. Obviously, you'll have to do it, or inform your teammates that you're not working, so that something is sent to you, sent to the team addressed to you. And since you're kept in tier two and the team is kept in CC, the your team can work for you, or the team can say, please wait, he's on a sick, he's on an emergency, he will come back and respond.
Okay.
Right?
Right. Right.
Okay. So let's quickly do this do's and don'ts, and I'm sure we have talked about it a couple of times. So I'll just read through it. So clear and concise subject line. Okay, professional greetings. We did it. Email body structured and to the point. Spell checks. Polite. Always be respectful. Whatever it is, if it is your escalations, it doesn't mean you have to show your rudeness and your arrogance in the email. You are escalating it as escalated, that's fine, but let that be in a proper tone and respectable tone. Use bullet points to make it more readable, right? So, and it is more readable, and it also emphasizes the importance and priority. Okay. So professional signatures, attaching the documents, and proofreading. Proofreading, very, very important. Okay. And response as well. See, it's very important. I mean, it's equally, it's a reciprocation, right? You send an email, and how long you wait for a response? You may do it for a day, right? And if you don't see a response, you get agitated. So please be mindful. It's same as the case with your recipients as well. They have sent something to you, respond. Maybe see what they were asking you to do. This is ask. It involves 2 or 3 days of time. Just send them. Okay, noted. I would need 2 3 days of time to get back to your email. So what happens is you're closing the loop here. You're telling your recipient, I've seen your email, right? And please give me some time to work on it, right? And that when said, it reminds me for one more option. You have this read receipt. There's a concept called read receipt. You can enable it. What happens is as soon as your recipient reads it, you will get a notification. But please be mindful. This is one more option, or this is one more feature that you will have to be very, very, very careful. Just like the BCC. First of all, whenever you request for a read receipt, the recipient will also get a pop-up saying that you have requested for it, which will be annoying. Point number one. And point number two, you send on average or 40 emails or 20 emails, and you have set this read receipt, and every read receipt is coming back to you. Your life is gone for a toss, right? So very cautiously use this. Okay. Otherwise, you can always put a footnote saying that I would expect a response by so and so timeline, something like that. Don't always use this. Read receipts. Okay. Okay, these are do's and don'ts again. So you can don't use your slangs, informal words, the contradictions which we talked about, right? Can't, won't, subject lines, vague and unclear languages. Never ever say get something before something. Do perform this tasks within some days, couple of. I mean, be very specific wherever you are able to quantify it. Put numbers to it. I want this response by 7th November. I want this response back from you by 8th November. Don't say I want you to respond as soon as possible. No, right? Don't use large attachments. Emojis, please avoid using it. Let me tell you, that's not the right way of using your professional emails. Don't do it. However close you are, however, even if your boss, I mean, is your friend, even if your vendor is your friend, don't use emotions. Emojis are not for professional emails. Okay. Okay, gentlemen, these are again the tips. So you'll have to choose your recipients very clearly. Send your emails at right time. Use BCC very carefully. Reply all is also very something which you should be very cautious about, and also these subject lines. We talked about it. Make it easy for the readers to respond, and you should always have this what is there in for them, that factor, and also make it more readable. Don't color it too much. Okay, and review it, follow the grammar checks, and keep your language very simple. Readability is what we talk about, making it, giving it proper spaces, putting it in bulletins, and bolding it, whatever you think is very important. Use a very professional tone. Don't use vagues and overuse spaces. I think that's all we have. And there are more sample templates that we have given you. This is one sample template, and how can you follow up? There is a sample template, and this is a template for a meeting invite. Santosh, I think I've already taken more than what us. So these are all just few examples of bad emails. I would leave it you to read through it. That ends the slide deck. Now I would love to open it up for the questions. I did not go through the chats, so I don't know whether you have any questions on the chats, and I would appreciate if you guys can use it and ask me any questions if you have. Am I audible still?
Yes, man.
Oh, I thought it was me alone talking. Not
No,
the case,
we are
right?
on mute. No, we are on mute. We are listening to you. Okay.
Perfect.
I have a question. Can I
Yes,
myself
yes.
have a question?
Of course, of course.
So you have mentioned that don't use the jargons or words, which is a new word such like that in the conversations. So how to handle as a recipient?
Okay, so very good question. Why? Because see, many a times we feel if we go back and ask something, they will they will likely scale down my understanding capacity. No,
Yeah. Yes.
that's not right at all. See, you have all right. If you are not clear, if you does not know what it is, of course you know now this in this new era, you can search for it, you can look through it, but there are a few jargons which is very specific to that particular organization, which you cannot find it on the Google or ChatGPT. If you are really struggling, there's no doubt you can respond to the request. You can reply back to the requester asking him to explain what it is. Rather than assuming things and doing it incorrectly, I would watch up, I would stand up, I would go back and ask. I tried understanding this, and I'm really afraid I have understood this properly. Can you please explain it? This is one way. Or you can say, I could see that you have said this, and this is what I understand out of it. Is my understanding correct? So the second option, you are also telling him what you have understood, and you are asking him to clarify it, right? So if you are not very clear, gentlemen, it's not just on emails, it's on any communication. You have all rights to stand up and say, gentlemen, this is not clear to me, please explain. Is that okay?
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Thank you. Thank you, Monica.
Okay. Gentlemen, any other questions from anyone? Okay. I take the silence as no, and I should be very thankful for you guys. I know how difficult it is to spend. Was it a question?
No, it's not a question. So I'm just asking, like, age I joined late, so is recording available for this?
Yeah, you will get it. Okay, thank you, gentlemen, for your time. I understand that it's very precious that on a weekend you paid me for almost 1 hour and 15 minutes, which my wife and my kid doesn't do. So thank you for that. On a lighter note, thanks for this opportunity. And I would love to hear your feedbacks as well, because I'm not sure how much I would have been able to convey it. And I hope I was able to share at least few things which I believe is right in doing it. Over to you,
Thanks,
Santosh.
Manikandan. Thanks for your time and valuable words as well.
Okay, then I'm signing off.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Have a
Happy
nice
weekend.
weekend. Bye bye.
Thank you.